Greetings, family. Welcome to the channel of freedom, the channel of change. RBZ Mushayavanhu contradicts himself again on the use of ZIG at fuel stations. We continue to see the flip-flopping of the RBZ governor and even the ZANU-PF government itself on different issues. Each time that they are pressed in a corner, they would say a lot of lies. They would just speak irresponsibly, thinking that they will escape, thinking that they'll get away with it. But at the end of the day, we realize that they don't succeed. You remember Mushayavanhu coming out and saying that we are not going to be forcing fuel stations to accept the ZIG. And today he comes back and he's saying something else that is different from what he had said. And we were also talking recently about the issue of the RBZ claiming that the World Bank is the one that came up with the idea of the ZIG. And today the World Bank came out and they refuted that. They rejected the whole thing and they said they are not part and parcel of the ZIG. And an embarrassment that is coming every time to ZANU-PF and MNANGAGWA government. So I would want us to listen to what Mushayavanhu had to say concerning the issue of the filling stations. Again, flip-flopping, contradicting what he had said previously. So how do we succeed when we have policy inconsistencies like what we are seeing in Zimbabwe? There is a lot of inconsistency in their policies. You can't run a country when you say this today, before the end of the week, you have changed the statement. Again, you change another statement. How can business plan? How can people plan when they are working with a government that just wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and decides to say whatever they want to say at that particular time? Or somebody has been asleep or slept somewhere and, dousing themselves on whiskey. They just wake up, sit on their chair, and they start just vomiting anything that comes straight direct to their mouth. Instead of, coming up with the concrete policies that stand, that are that must stretch for a long time, so that people can start to plan around those policies. But alas, we don't have such a kind of a leadership, and Mushayavanhu is going to be one of the worst ever performing governors. You remember, people were just on his neck right now about his bashing, his parties that he was throwing back in the Mashingo and dancing like a small boy, who has just picked up some coin. That was just reducing. He's just simply reducing himself to something else that is not, worthy of a real Reserve Bank governor of a successful nation. Mushayavanhu must behave like a mature man, a professional, somebody who knows what he's doing. I don't know what really is happening with this man. He has just started on a very wrong footing. I just want us to listen to what he had to say about fuel stations.
Thank you very much. Let me first of all respond on the question regarding fuel. We are in a multi-currency regime. There is nothing stopping a fuel dealer selling their fuel partly in ZIG and partly in any other currency. If the fuel dealer is not selling a fuel in ZIG, they will find themselves in a situation where they are looking for ZIG come June, July, because they are also a taxpayer and they are supposed to pay 50% of their tax in ZIG. So if they are not selling their product in ZIG, where are they going to get the ZIG from? And I have to warn them that when we get to June and July, the rate for ZIG may strengthen such that they will actually be losing out. So if I were a fuel dealer today, I would start selling some of my fuel in ZIG and some of my fuel in US dollars, because.
And how does that happen? I wonder what happens, what goes around in these guys' skulls. How does that happen? Can a filling station say on Monday we are selling in ZIG, on Tuesday we are selling in US dollar? What does he mean when he says part of the fuel in ZIG and part in US dollar? Can you have different pumps at the same filling station where there is a pump that is selling in ZIG and another pump that is selling in US dollar? Can that ever happen? It's not possible. It's not possible. So what should just happen is both currencies must just be open to buy fuel, not to sell fuel for the sake of preparing to pay for tax. What is amazing is that he is speaking as if ZiG is obtained from outside Zimbabwe. ZiG is just flowing around in the streets. If they sell in US dollar and they want to pay the whatever the tax that he's talking about, they will simply buy that ZiG from the streets. So why is he surprised? Why is he surprised? Right now he's talking about the US dollar. Where are people getting the US dollar today? If you are going to say the ZiG is not going to be available, so he's just saying things and without even thinking. And you might think that this is just a small boy who is just in grade 1 who is speaking here, instead of us listening to an academic, somebody who is, you know, a professional. This is not a professional speaking. This is some little boy who is just saying things for the sake of saying. Because right now he's saying the ZiG will probably be very, very expensive. What do you mean very, very expensive? How can it become expensive? Even if it gains value, so what? If somebody still has the US dollar, it will be still at par. There is nothing that will change. And after all, that's a pipe dream to say that the ZiG is going to become stronger in June and July. Who is giving him such statistics? Is he not seeing already how the ZiG has already fallen? The ZiG is falling every day. The prices of the ZiG is getting, you know, higher and higher and every day versus the US dollar. It has just collapsed before it even is fully operational in the market. So we don't even know what this man is talking about. I wonder. I wonder what he's talking about.
Because we are in a multi-currency arrangement.
All right.
So, right, when he's talking about a multi-currency regime, multi-currency arrangement, a multi-currency arrangement should simply allow both the currencies to work. You are not supposed to be now campaigning for the other. If indeed it's a multi-currency regime, it means both currencies, or if it's the ZiG and the US dollar, they must be operating at par. They must be operating at every place. If you go, if he calls it a multi-currency regime while he includes the ZiG, it simply means that wherever you go with the US dollar, you can go with the ZiG without any contradictions. But unfortunately in Zimbabwe, that is not the situation. You can't go with the ZiG to buy a smartphone. There is no one who is selling a smartphone in Zimbabwe where you can go and buy it in ZiG. It won't happen, you see. And the very government itself, like we've always been saying, is the very one that rejected the ZiG itself. So today, what are they talking about? We don't even know what they are talking about. So if it's a true multi-currency regime, all currencies must be operating at par. Every currency must be accepted at every selling point or paying point. Nobody should be discriminating against the other currency. But it is them who started discriminating, the very government of MNANGAGWA. They pulled down the ZiG. They killed the ZiG. And we said it in the beginning that already Mushayavanhu and ZANU-PF, they've killed the ZiG by refusing it in the passport office. And today, look at them now. They want to pretend as if all is well, as if the US dollar and the ZiG are just running at parallel and they are acceptable in every place, just as the normal as that. And yet they know the truth. So ZANU-PF and its lies, I'm telling you, its lies are just suicidal. Suicidal, I'm telling you. Because at the end of the day, it is not going to help the nation. All this that they are doing is not going to help. Whatever that Mushayavanhu is doing, whoever taught him that when he comes into that office of the RBZ governor, he must now jump into the ZANU-PF mentality of starting to lie. I don't think you ever get anywhere. Where he has been manager, bank manager in those other banks, I don't think he was succeeding on lies. The way that he now wants to operate when he comes to ZANU-PF. So I'm sure he's being taught to do something that he has not been doing. You know, when you have not been operating in the environment of the crocodiles and then all of a sudden you are thrown there, for you to behave like a crocodile, it will really be very difficult. We can see clearly that it is very difficult for this man, Mushayavanhu, to be able to be consistent in his lying. His lies are just being exposed every day. And he even comes to counter his own lies. He contradicts himself time and again, and now he's becoming a very foolish man in the eyes of the whole of the nation and even of the whole world. Very sad development that we are seeing happening in our country, and very, very unfair. And we need definitely new leaders in the country. We can't continue with this. We need a free Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe must be freed. We are tired of these lies. We are tired of these people. And continuously, they want to think that they'll get away with it. But they are not seeing that what is happening here is just leading to their downfall. Joseph Farrai, how are you? Says, evening, my family, Chatufa, Tagushika. Thank you very much. We are very, very close, not very far from now. Regina Pri says, exposure season. Yes, remember we spoke about this and we said this exposure season was coming, and indeed we are in the middle of it. Things are going to continue happening. A lot are still coming. Zig Mushonga. Yes, she also says, I smell a red. Basaredu family kunamata. Yes, let's continue to pray. Let's continue to pray. A lot is happening. Things are not well in the country, and we can see when we see big men, trying to lie through their teeth but being exposed time and again. Good evening, family. Good evening, Sister Poshi. I hope you are well. Janet Bere says, good evening, champions. Thank you very much, my champion. Hope you are doing great. Great Oswanda says, hello, family. How are you? We hope you are good. Mushayavanhu is a bad start. Is the worst start, I'm telling you, because every lie that he has tried to propagate is not worked. In fact, his lies are also being destroyed by himself, because he forgets what he has said the previous day. When he comes again on the other day, he begins on a new lying spree. That lying spree is contradicting what he said in the past. It's a sad development, really, for our nation. But God is in it. God is moving. We are seeing indeed that the country is getting to freedom. This is why there is confusion in the camp of the enemy. Family, we are going to be meeting right on the main channel, Chatufa Television Production, in a few minutes from now, where we are looking at more and more issues that are happening in the country. As of now, allow me to sign off. Love you always. Stay tuned.